Have you ever wondered why some people claim that they can turn 100,000 into $1 million? So this really happened to me. And in this video, you get to hear about how it happened and then where we are with that $1 million investment. Stay tuned to the very end because it's gonna be juicy. Hi guys, welcome back to Wealth and Wellness with Grace. And today you get to hear one of the best financial decisions I ever made. And this was purchasing a property subject to the existing mortgage. So initially I purchased this property from a homeowner who was going through foreclosure. So as soon as I heard about the location of the property, it needed a lot of work, right? But I knew the location would make up for it. So what I did, I paid whatever they were behind on their mortgage, which was about $10,000, and then ended up putting about $20,000 to make sure that the property was renovated and habitable and was able to rent. This happened in 2019. So it wasn't too long ago, you see? So it just tells you time is a good thing sometimes, especially in real estate. You know how they say time heals all wounds? Guess what? In real estate, time is your biggest wealth creator. So this happened in 2019. I purchased this property subject to, like I said, and then it was literally about $100,000 at the time. And then I put a lot of renovations, I paid it down, I did everything possible to make sure that I have a tenant, and everything worked out fine until, guess what happened? Another unfortunate event happened in 2021. And so those who are in Louisiana or close by Louisiana, you know what happened to us. We had Hurricane Ida, one of the worst hurricanes in 20 years. And so this really devastated a lot of neighborhoods, and that included some of my investments. This property had two damages, in the front and in the back, with two big trees. I could not believe it. And the people who are renting it are the sweetest tenants, Lord. They're the best people I've ever met. So I'll pay for your rental wherever you move to, at least for the first month, and I'll help you move up. And they say, no, we like it here. We like to stay with you. So at first I was like, you know what? I can just wait for the insurance check. You know how insurance takes so much time. So what I had to do was like, these people are staying in the house and they're paying and they really like staying here, and especially they like me as their landlord. I was like, you know what? Let me make sure that at least I get a contractor, start getting at least those repairs done as soon as possible. And that happened. So that cost about another $30,000 trying to do repairs. We ended up with flooring, we had to do painting, we had to do a whole new roof. And before that, actually, I had literally just replaced a roof in July. You see, I had literally just replaced a brand new roof. You see, it was metal. Metal costs more money. And I put a new metal roof. A month later, the hurricane hit and the metal roof was damaged. So real estate is not for the faint of heart, y'all. So just be patient with it and be patient with me because this story is getting juicy and juicier. So I was really devastated, but I was like, you know what? It's all for a reason. The house was renovated and I was able to get the insurance to reimburse me for the money I put in for the repairs and whatnot. And then when I got the insurance check, I had a decision to make. One, I could pay off that mortgage, or I could pay my student loans. So I thought, Grace, what can you do? What are you gonna do? So I literally sat on that decision for 6 months because I didn't want to make a mistake, you see? And then you know what, sometimes we overthink things, right? So you're overthinking it. But I had to do the pros and cons of paying off a whole house versus paying off student loans. So in the next video, you're gonna hear about my pros and cons. But in this video, let me finish up with the story, how I just ended up paying off the home. So the house, the balance at the time was about $79,000, close to $80,000. That's what I did, paid it off, done. And then, actually, I had to also put in my own money because the insurance didn't give me a whole $80,000. No. They didn't give me all that money. So you know how insurance is. Sometimes they don't pay a lot. like you want them to pay. So you have to keep going back to them. Sometimes people say that you have to really fight for what you really want them to pay you. But I just accepted whatever check they gave me, which was half of that, and I had to come up with the rest of the money and paid off the house. And then when I did that, so I had that option of, should I leverage this more paid off house to get more properties, or just enjoy having a paid off house? Because it feels so good being in my 30s and having a paid off rental. It's one of the best feelings, y'all. I had to remember that I said real estate because I wanted to leverage wealth. So I wanted to leverage my rentals to build more wealth. So I always have that in mind. And the goal for real estate also for me is, if I can build up more wealth, guess what? I can retire from my day job, you see, because I'm also a registered nurse and I'm also an agent. So if I can retire fully from my day job, I can do more in life. You see, I love philanthropy, so I can definitely serve my community. I can travel all over the world. I can do more than most. So that's the goal. So I thought about that. I was like, you know what? This paid off house sounds good and all, but the $1,400 I'm getting per month, you see, even if it's paid off, that's all I'm getting. It limits how much more you can do. What I did, I talked to a lender and I asked them, can I leverage my paid off house to get another property? Guess what? Yes, I can. And so last year I was able to do that. And I ended up with a duplex. And this duplex, we negotiated about $150. So I ended up paying $152,000, including closing costs and whatnot. And then from there on, I used some of the money that I got back from the lender. Even if I bought it for less, it was a $170,000 home. So what I did with the bank, they normally do appraisals. So they did the appraisal on this paid off home, and then they did the appraisal on the other property I'm about to purchase, the duplex. And so whatever the appraisal was worth, they lent me about 70% of that. And then they gave me back the rest of the money. So I literally ended up with an $80,000 check. Pretty much whatever I had paid off for the house, I ended up with it. So I was so amazed by that. I was like, so I was here crying about giving up all the $80,000 to pay off this house, but I got the money back when I leveraged it. So I got the money back, and guess what? I got the rental. I renovated the rental because your girl likes to build in equity. So I don't like the house which is already renovated because I don't have no equity built in. So I like something that I can go in there, put a little few finishing touches, and it doesn't have to be a whole renovation. No. It can be paint, it can be flooring, it can be simple touches. And so I went in those duplexes and I renovated them and made them much nicer than they were before. And I put a little money in there. So that was another $20,000, making sure that they looked the part. And that's done. And so the other 60, what was I to do with it? I thought about, how can I buy more properties with this other 60? Guess what? I was able to acquire 2 single family homes. And so one was $200,000 when I bought it. And right now it's worth about $250 because I did the same thing. I added a fence, I cleaned it up, I painted. I did a few finishing touches in that particular one as well, and also rented it out. And the other one, we are actually still renovating it. So for that one, it's gonna be an interesting project because it used to be a 5-bedroom, but right now it's a 7-bedroom and 3 baths. So it's gonna be really interesting. And for it, I bought it for $170, but it's gonna increase the value to $325. So if you can look at the initial investment was $175. Okay, so $175 for the first one. The duplex is $250 after I renovated, and then the third property is about $250, and the last property is $375. So I'm literally leveraging $175 to make $1 million. That's the power of real estate. You see? So I don't know a lot of investments that can do that fast, because this happened 2019 and 2021. a few changes there, and then definitely 2022 and 2023, that's when the big changes happen. But in less than 4 years, we've been able to leverage real estate. One property can make a difference. So if you have questions, reach out and let me know what you think. And we can even run the numbers on that $1 million, because I know sometimes people are going to be like, that's mortgages and that's this, that's that. And I understand. But like I say, slow but steady wins the race. However, I promise you, when you stick to it, you will get results. You will win in the end, because those properties are still building equity. Those rents are still coming. From $1,400 from the initial property, the next one is $1,800. The third property is $2,200. You hear me? And the fourth property is $2,500. So I'm already building up $8,000 worth of rent every month. And you might say, okay, that also has, you have to pay off the mortgage and the maintenance and that. But you can do half of that. You see, $8,000 times 12 is $96,000. So you can do half of that. That can be $50,000, right? That you're paying for the mortgages, the maintenance, everything else. You still have $50,000. And then if you say, okay, you did invest initially to renovate them. Well, if you look at all the money I put in it, it's not even $100,000 to renovate them. So in less than 2 years, my money is going to come back. But you have to put in the time. You have to put in the work. It's not going to be, oh, this is $100,000 in $1 million, and you don't have no risk, you don't have no patience, you see? No, it's not going to work like that. So if you're hesitant because you're used to getting the get rich quick, like most people are, I'm sorry, just know that this might not be for you. Because if you really want it bad, you have to know it comes with its own challenges, and you also have to prepare to sacrifice to make it work. Learn from mentors, reach out to people. I get people all the time asking me, Grace, how did you? Guess what? I started. You see, you gotta start. Whatever. This video is literally just trying to encourage you. I'm not here to brag. I'm just telling you start. The initial investment, if you see it, I'm gonna have to put the pictures here below. It was bad. Because why did the seller actually abandon the property? That's a good one. The seller abandoned the property because their family had medical challenges. So they're in Louisiana, and the wife's family had medical challenges. So they literally had to move all of a sudden to Alabama. So they were not able to pay a mortgage here and then go to Alabama, pay a rent. No, so they were not able to do both. And so they had to forego the mortgage here. And so for a year, they were not paying anything on the mortgage. And that's how the mortgage ended up being close to $10,000. You see? In fact, when I was like, oh, I paid off the house, and they called me because I paid off the house, and I'm like so excited. I'm like, as soon as I get my loan notice that I paid off the house and I have the deed, guess what? They called me and they're like, my credit dropped. What happened? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry to tell you I paid off the house. They were like, oh. You see? So when people are hesitant about subject to, I keep telling you, it can be a good thing for whoever is selling it, because we are helping them build their credit. Because when you pay off the house, like they had to call me and remind me, their credit dropped. You see, but we had consistently helped them with their credit, you see. But now I don't have to really deal with them because I already paid off the house and it's under us. But from here on out, just know that you have to start. And if I didn't make that initial investment, of course I wouldn't be here talking, right? Because sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to start, I'm so scared, and all the negative. Guess what? If you don't make the initial start, you're never going to start, and you're never going to get nowhere in life. I like this book. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. That book changed my life. Look it up. The Richest Man in Babylon. It made me think about life differently. It made me think about stop thinking sorry for myself. You see, you know how sometimes you feel sorry for yourself. Oh, I'm starting off late in life. Oh, I didn't have nothing growing up. Oh, I didn't have this. Read that book right now. Please read that book right now. And it's on audio. You see? So listen to it, because every time I listen to it, I get out different golden nuggets, because they also mention so much information in there. You'll be surprised. But the biggest takeaway from that book, that you can start anywhere with what you have and implement these concepts, and you'll get very far in life. You'll be the richest person you know, because that's really what it talks about. So you'll be the richest person. You might not be in Babylon, you might be wherever you are in the US. You will be the richest person you know, because you started. So until next time, I hope you enjoyed this video, and share in the comments below what you think. I'm excited for you all to see these pictures and also comment, y'all. Until next time.